Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video I'll be programming a trading strategy called Bollinger Bands to determine when to buy and sell stock. Now Bollinger Bands are intervals drawn on a price chart that define high and low on a relative basis. And that's coming directly from Wikipedia. Now the idea for this video is to buy when the close price goes below the lower band and sell when the close price goes above the upper band. So if you are ready to start programming, be sure to hit that like button. And if you are new to this channel, then hit that subscribe button and let's start programming. So right now I'm on Google's website and it's called colab.research.google.com, and I'm on it because it makes it really easy to start programming in Python. So all you have to do is go to this website, colab.google.research.com, and log on with your Google account and start programming. So to start programming this program, you're going to want to click on File, and you're going to want to click New Notebook, where a new tab will open up for you and a new cell. Now within this cell, I'm going to put in comments a description about the program. So I'm just going to type description, and I'm going to type this program uses the Bollinger Band strategy to determine when to buy and sell stock. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and create a new cell by clicking this code button in the top left. And in this cell, I'm going to import the libraries that I plan on using throughout the program. So I'm going to import pandas as PD. Next, I'm going to import numpy as np. And I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. And I'm going to give the plot a style. So I'm going to type plt.style.use. And I'm going to use the 538 style. So let's go ahead and run this, see if we get any errors by clicking that button here to the left. And everything looks good. So I'm going to create a new cell, and in this cell I'm going to load the data. All right, so just type from google.colab import files, and then type files.upload, and let's go ahead and run this cell and upload that file. Click on choose files, and I'm going to upload this tesla.csv file or tsla.csv file, and it looks like it's done. So let's go ahead and create a new cell and let's get the data. So I'm going to create a variable called df and set it equal to pd.read_csv, and I'm going to input the name of the file that I just uploaded, which is tesla.csv, or again tsla.csv, and then I want to show the data. So I'm just going to type df, and let's go ahead and run this cell. And now I can see a few columns. I can see the date, the open price, the high price, the low price, the close price, the adjusted close price, and the volume. All right. I can also see that this data set has 484 rows of data and 7 columns, and the date range is from February 1st, 2016 to December 29th, 2017 of Tesla's data. So I want to go ahead and change these indexes here, or indices, from being integer values to being the date. So here I'm going to set the index to be the date. So just type df and set it equal to df.set_index, and then type pd.datetime_index, and then we're going to input the data. So just type df and then date.values, and let's go ahead and run this again, and let's take a look at the index. So now we can see that the index has changed to the date. All right, so that looks really good. Next, I'm going to go ahead and create a new cell, and in this cell I plan on calculating the simple moving average, the standard deviation, the upper band, and the lower band. All right, so first I need to get the time period. So I'm going to use a 20-day time period. So I'm going to create a variable called period and set it equal to 20. And next I'm going to go ahead and calculate the simple moving average, or SMA for short. So I'm going to create a new column in my data set called SMA, and I'm going to set it equal to df close dot rolling. And then I'm going to give the window, or I'm going to set the window equal to period. And because of course we want the average, just type mean, and that should calculate the simple moving average for us. Next, I'm going to get the standard deviation, and that's because I need it for calculating the upper band and the lower band. So I'm going to create a column called std, and I'm going to set it equal to df close dot rolling, and the window will be equal to period dot std. All right. Next, I'm going to calculate the upper band, or the upper Bollinger band. So I'm going to create a new column. I'm going to call it upper, and I'm going to set it equal to df SMA plus 2 standard deviations. So just type df std times 2, and that should do it. And I'm just going to highlight this and copy it using Control C, and then paste it using Control V, and just do some small changes to calculate the lower Bollinger band. So here I'm going to put lower, and I'm going to change this column to lower, and instead of this plus sign here, we're going to use the minus sign. All right, and that should be it for all of the calculations. Next, I'm going to create a list of columns to keep. So I'm just going to call this maybe column list. So I'm just going to type column underscore list, and I'm going to set it equal to close SMA upper and lower. Okay, and now I'm going to plot the data. So just type df and then column underscore list, and then dot plot, and I'm going to give this figure a figure size, so, or this plot a figure size, so just type fig size and set it equal to 12.2 by, I'll do 6.4. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and give this plot a title, so I'm going to type built dot title, and I'm going to call it Bollinger band for Tesla. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and give the y-axis a label as well. So I'm going to type built dot y label, and I'm going to put USD price and then a dollar sign. All right, and then last but not least, I want to show the plot. So I just type built dot show, and let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so it looks like there are a few errors, so let's go ahead and see what that is. It looks like here I misspelled period, so let's change that to a D. Let's run this again, and there's still a few more errors, so here it should not be a D. Let's run this again, and now everything looks good. Okay, so this looks really good. So we can see the close price in blue, we can see the SMA and this orangish reddish color, and we can see upper in the yellowish orangish color. I guess it's yellow. And then in green, we can see the lower band. All right. So it looks really good. But normally you probably would see these shaded. And that's what we will go ahead and do next. So let's go ahead and shade this. So I'm going to create a new cell. And in this cell, we are going to plot and shade the area between the two Bollinger bands. So first thing I need to do is get the figure and the figure size. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to create a variable called fig and set it equal to plt dot figure, and then the fig size will be equal to 12.2 by 6.4. So that's 12.2 inches for the width and 6.4 inches for the height. And next I'm going to add the subplot. So I'm going to create a variable called x and set it equal to fig.add underscore subplot. All right, and I'm going to give it the number of rows, the number of columns, and the number of indexes. And I think you can also write this as 1, 1, 1, just like that. It should be the same, but let's just continue with this way for now. And next I want to get the index values of the data frame. So that's pretty easy. It's just df.index. I'm gonna create a variable for this. I'm gonna set x underscore axis equal to df.index. Okay. Next I want to plot and shade the area between the upper band and the lower band, and I want to shade it gray. All right, so just type x dot fill underscore between, and then let's put in the x-axis, the index, and let's put in the band. So that's df upper and df lower, and let's give it a color. So I'm gonna set the color equal to gray. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and plot the closing price and the moving average. So let me just bring this up a little bit. Okay, so just type x dot plot, and then we can put in x underscore axis, and then put df close, and we can give that a color. So I'm going to set the color to be gold, and then the LW will be equal to 3. The line width is equal to 3, and the label will be close price. And I'm just going to copy this by highlighting it, using Control C to copy it, and then using Control V to paste it. All right, I'm going to make a few changes here. So instead of close price, we're going to use SMA, and instead of the color gold, I will use the blue color. I will keep the line width the same, and I'm going to change the label to be simple moving average. Okay. Alrighty. Now let's go ahead and set the title and show the image. So just type x.set underscore title, and I'm going to call it basically the same thing I called it up top, Bollinger Band for Tesla. And this time I will give the x-axis a label. So just type x.set underscore x label, and I will put date, and let's give the y-axis a label. So x.set underscore y label, it will be USD price with the $sign. Okay, and let's go ahead and give it some ticks. So I'm going to type pt dot x ticks, rotation will be equal to 45, and let's show the legend. So just type x dot legend, and then let's show the plot. So type pt dot show, and let's run this. Okay. All right, so now we got this nice chart here, and we can see the shaded area. And the idea of this strategy again is to see when the close price reaches the upper Bollinger Band or the lower Bollinger Band, which will tell us to buy or sell the stock at that price. Okay, so let's go ahead and create those buy and sell signals on the chart so that we can see exactly where this is occurring, and then let's do some analysis later. So let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now in this cell, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically create a new data frame. So let's go ahead and put that, create a new data frame. So I'm going to create a variable called new underscore df, and I'm going to set this equal to df, and it's going to be from the period, from the time period, -1 to everything else. And then I want to show the new data. So just type new underscore df, and let's go ahead and run this and take a look. Okay, so it's like I messed up somewhere. So I keep, for some reason, misspelling period. So let's get rid of that D. Let's run this again. And now we can see the data, and we can scroll all the way over, and we can see the columns that were added, which are the columns SMA, STD, upper, and lower. Okay. And what you'll notice is that the number of rows have decreased by 20, and the number of columns, of course, have increased by 4. So we go back up really quick to when we first looked at the original data set, we can see that we had 484 rows of data and 7 columns. All right. So this right here is adjusting for that 20-day period. Okay, so let's continue here. Let's create a new cell. And now I'm going to create a function to get the buy and sell signals. So I'm going to call this function get underscore signal, and it's going to take in some data. And then I'm going to create my buy signal list. So buy underscore signal will be equal to an empty list first. And then I'm going to create my sell signal. So I'm going to set that equal to an empty list as well. Now for I in range length of the data close price, I want to check, let me see, I want to check if the data for the close price at position I want to check if it's greater than the values for data in the upper column at position I. And if it is, then I want to sell. So here I'm going to put then you should sell. Okay. So actually, before I put that, let me make sure. Okay. So I'm just going to highlight this, Control X, Control V there. All right. Okay. So here I'm going to put the buy signal, and I'm going to append np.nan, and I want to append the closing price to the sell signal. So I'm going to type sell underscore signal dot append, and I'm going to append the close price at that current position, which is I. All right, so I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and press enter. Now, else if the data close price at position I is less than the lower band, so that's data lower at position I, then you should buy, right? So the buy underscore signal will append the close price this time. So df close at position I. And I'm going to put a little comment here that says, then you should buy. Okay. And the sell signal will get appended the np.nan value. All right. Else, if it's neither of those two conditions, then both buy and sell signal will append the np.nan value. So that's what I'm going to do here, np.nan. Alrighty, so I think that looks good. Next, I'm going to return the buy underscore signal and the cell underscore signal. And hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. I did go through that kind of fast. So let's go ahead and run this cell. Let's create a new cell. And here we're going to create 2 new columns. So just type new underscore df, and the first column I'm going to call by, and I'm going to set it equal to get underscore signal new underscore df will be the input, and then it's going to return the by signal there. And I'm just going to highlight this, copy it using Control C, and then paste it using Control V, and just make a few small changes. So I'm going to create a cell column there, and then I want to return the cell signal. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, it looks like everything is okay. So let's go ahead and create a new cell. And in this cell, I'm going to plot all of the data. All right, so let's go ahead and basically recreate the chart that we created above. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to that chart here, and we're just going to make a few changes. So I'm going to highlight everything here, and I'm going to copy it using Control C, come back down and paste it here using Control V. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that comment there. And we're going to get the figure size. That looks good. We're going to add the subplot, and now we're going to change this df here to new underscore df, and same for the value here, new underscore df, and here new underscore df, and here as well, and here. All right, so I think that should do it for that. And we're going to add in, let's see, we want to add in those 2 new columns. So I'm just going to add it here and just type x.scatter, because we're going to add in a scatter plot. Put in the x-axis. All right, and we're going to put in new underscore df by, and I'm going to give the by a color. The color will be green, and the line width will be 3, and the label will be by, and I think that looks good. And then we're going to give it a marker, so just type marker and set it equal to this upper character there, and that looks good. So I'm just going to highlight this line and copy it using Control C, and then paste it using Control V, and it makes some small changes for the cell signal. So I'm going to change that column name to cell here, and the color will be red, and the label will be cell. The line width will remain the same, and the marker will be the down pointing arrow, in this case the character V. And I think that looks good, so let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so it looks okay. I'm gonna make some more small changes to the graph. So I'm going to add an alpha here. So alpha will be equal to 0.5, and I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to paste that here and here and here, and I'm going to change the values here to be 1 for the buy and sell signal. And let's run this again. Okay, so now here's our chart. Let's take a look at this strategy and see how good it is. So it looks like this strategy is not so good, but maybe I messed up somewhere. Let's go back and look at that buy and sell signal, and let's see what's going on. So for I in range length data close, the data close at position I is greater than data upper at position I. The buy signal will be appended the np.nan value, and the sell signal will be appended the there we go. So here's the problem. In the signals here, I put df instead of data. So let's go ahead and put data here, and let's put data there. And let's go ahead and run this again. And let's run this again. And let's run this again. Okay, so now this looks a lot better. Okay, before it was flipped around, it looked horrible. It looked like a horrible, horrible strategy. Okay, so now we have our Bollinger Band chart for Tesla. So we can see our buy signals in green and we can see our sell signal in red. And it looks like we would have, or the signals are telling us to sell here. So we're going to sell the stock, however many we have, how many shares we have here for about 50. I'm just going to round up. So about $55 per share. And then it's telling us to buy. And we have all these buy indicators here. Now, however, it looks like we would have bought at a higher price here than the signals tells us to sell, so we would have lost some money there. But then it's telling us to buy here, telling us to buy here, and then sell here. Now it looks like this is another case where if we had bought right here where the buy signal is telling us to buy, we would have lost money here. And let's see, we would have bought here and then sold here, so that looks good. Maybe we would have sold on one of these sell signals, which would have been positive, right? That would have made us money. And then here we would buy, and then here we would sell. So it looks good. We would have made money. We would have sold here. We still would have made money. Um, Here it looks like it's really, really close, but I think the signal is good. I think we still would have made money if we had bought here and sold here. Now, by looking at this strategy, I am seeing something interesting. So it looks like if we had waited to buy on the second buy signal or the third buy signal, it looks like would have been much more profitable. So let's take a look at that. So if I bought at this second buy signal, um, it looks like I may have at least been even in this case, right? And then if I had bought here, this is a lower buy signal than the first one. So, I would have been better off because I would have saved more money when I bought that stock. Here, the buy signal, or here's the second buy signal here, and it's lower than the sell signal, so we would have profited. Here, the second buy signal is lower than the other one, so we would have saved some money there, and we would have sold, probably around here or any one of these here, however you want to do your strategy. Let's take another look. Here, we would have bought at this second buy signal and then sold somewhere up here or here. So we would have made more money because we would have saved and bought at a lower price. And then same here, we would have bought at a lower price in that first buy signal, and we would have sold at a higher price, so we would have been more profitable. So the strategy seems decent. I guess it depends on how you want to use it. You might want to use it with some other indicators, but of course, we're just looking at a little bit of data here. So it's not a lot of data, and a lot more testing will be needed with this strategy before implementing it for your very own trading strategy. But I hope you all enjoyed this video and hope you learned a lot. And thank you for watching. And a special thanks to everyone supporting this channel on patreon.com. If you want to support this channel on patreon.com, I will leave a link below in the description. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you all in the next video.